G'day legends, and welcome to this video where I'm about to break down the great Virat Kohli, King Kohli's golden duck in the first innings of the first test between England and India. Even the best players make mistakes. So here is my live chat. I'm going live on Instagram right now. So this is my thoughts on the great King Kohli's golden duck. G'day legends. Skulls coming to you live on Instagram. Instagram says, we're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Sham has joined. Hello Sham, thanks mate. Gav, legends, thanks a lot for joining. And appreciate you guys being here. Who else we got? Let me know where you're coming from. Uncle Buckram, Scotty, hope you're well, legend. Hope things are good with you, Scott Dog. Hey legend, you! Guys, let me know where you're coming from. I'm obviously coming to you from Perth, Western Australia. The sun is actually shining today. It's been a very wet couple of months here in Perth, but it's shining for once. I'm coming to you from our new offices, which we still don't have Wi-Fi in. We still don't have much furniture, but we're making some progress. So Sri Lanka, Kashmir, awesome, Mohammed, Rehan, thanks guys. Liam Golan, shop boy. Hey, Liam, Hinav, hi, India. Matty Angel, Perth, one of our great friends and followers. Teague Wiley is a gun, says Curry Munch. Yes, Teague is a very good player. He's got a bit of work to do still in his game, but he's a very good player. I am all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Love from Nepal, from Canada, Melbourne. We truly have a global audience here, guys, so thank you very much. While I'm talking to you guys live on Instagram, I'm also recording it, which we might post somewhere later on. So I've got another camera over here. Yes, hey Skulls, are you coming to India? Again, yes, I would love to come to India. We've got someone from Bangalore, Queensland. When you come to Queensland, I'd love to get to Queensland. I don't know when I'm going where yet until COVID gets its act together and we can travel. I just aren't planning anything. We've had 2 tours cancelled, one to India last year and one to Darwin last month. So pretty heartbreaking when you put a lot of time and effort and energy into these tours for young people, young players, and then they get cancelled because of COVID and the inability to travel. So guys, as soon as the world's better and we're able to travel freely, there's no risks of lockdowns or quarantines or anything, then we will be traveling again. We'll be inviting our friends, our fans, our followers, all of you guys, our community, to come and join us, whether we're going to India or Darwin, whether we go to the East Coast, New Zealand, South Africa, all these places we want to go. So we can't wait till the world is in a better place, because tours are a big part of our business. We want to meet more people from all over the world, and we want to give experiences for young people, you guys, who you'll remember forever. So definitely going to be traveling soon. A few other people, when you come to New Zealand, Smithy, Aaron Smithy, love to get to New Zealand, mate. I cannot wait to get to New Zealand one day. Pakistan, love to get to Pakistan. So many wonderful parts of the world I've never been and want to get to. India. Is that an Italian flag, James? Or I'm not sure, little flag there. South Africa, Wellington, Warren, thanks for joining us. Sydney, we got so many people from all over the world. So guys, let's get stuck in. The idea of today's chat is to talk about the photo that we posted of Virat Kohli getting out. Now, we've had well over 100 comments in a little over 2 hours. Everyone seems to have an opinion, which is great. We love that. Boston, hello the US. We've got someone in the house from the US. So I just thought it would be a good sort of topic to discuss, and some of you may already know where I'm going to go with this, given what I said about the Kohli situation on our story last night. So those of you who saw it last night will know, but there are some more. I'm going to go a bit deeper into it today. So lots of people, I'm just reading some of the comments here. I've got Reedy's phone, I'm just reading comments. Head was not in line with the ball, pushing at the ball, don't have to defend it. If you are defending towards cover, could have left it, fair point. I think he played for too much for the in-swing, probably didn't need to play at it, pushing at it so wide. Only hit it if it's going to bowl you or you're trying to score off it. Neither was true in this case. He likes going quite hard at it on the front foot, outside off, pushed at it, hard hands, not meeting the ball under his eyes, unplayable stuff. It's sad to see Kohli out of form, half-hearted drive. Guys, these are all comments on the post, so you can see them all yourselves. They're not my thoughts. He ain't king, said someone. There is a big difference between saying and playing. Not sure what that means. Edge. Gap between bat and pad. Just outdone by a class bowler in delivery. Daniel Tabone, very, very good point. Someone said so overrated. I think his stats are pretty undeniable. I don't think 70 odd international hundreds is anything to be underrated, so I don't agree with that one. Most overrated cricketer on the planet, someone else said. Not sure about that again. Alright, so guys, so many comments there about his technique, and yes, he made a technical error. However, that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I want to talk about is the fact that even the world's best players, like Kohli, like Root, Smith, Williamson, these great players, they're not just the best now, but statistically they're some of the best players ever. Even they make mistakes and they make technical errors. They're not robots, and that means they're not perfect. You can't just program them and then they never ever make a mistake. So guys, it's a really important point for all of us young cricketers and anyone in the cricket community, anyone watching this video now or on a replay, to understand that the best players still make mistakes. They're not robots. So if they're making mistakes, what are we as not so good players, not as good as them, what are we expecting? They prepare better than anyone in the world. They have the resources and the ability to prepare better than anyone in the world. So if they're hitting more balls and preparing better than everyone, and they still make mistakes, then what do we expect to do? But everyone will go to the technical thing, and yes, he made a technical error, but I reckon it was a lot to do with it was the first ball he's faced in months. It was the first ball he's faced in a cricket match. He's obviously been training the net for a long time, but it was an incredible ball. He was done by a seriously good bowler, and it was a seriously good ball. So we've got to remember, it's the first ball he's faced in months. He's facing Jimmy Anderson, who's the third leading, he's just become the third leading wicket taker in Test history. He's the leading fast bowler, taking the most wickets by a fast bowler in Test history. It was a seriously good ball. Yes, technically he could have been better, but I think he was a bit tense. He was a bit sort of so anxious and keen to do well. He's the leader. He loves leading from the front. He loves setting an example. The first innings of the first test of the series, he would have been really up for the fight. And because of that, it caused him to sort of push at it and get into a bit of an awkward position. If he was on 20 or 30, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have played it that way. He would have been able to handle it, even though it was a good ball. And the data I've heard or seen was that it swung in 1.1 degrees and then nipped away 0.8 degrees. So yes, everyone that said he didn't have to play at it, you probably are right, because it was wide of off stump, but it swung in, and the ball before would have hit Pujara's stumps, and so Kohli would have been mindful of the in-swinger and the ball attacking his stumps. So he sort of felt like he had to play. And when anyone that sort of knows, when the ball's swing in, you feel like you have to play. You're under pressure. If you leave the ball, you've got the danger of getting bowled. So he felt like he had to play, then it left him, nipped away 0.8 degrees. So that's incredible bowling. That is world-class bowling, and that's why Jimmy Anderson's such an amazing bowler. And he bowled two of his best balls for the day in a row. And Kohli was so unlucky that he got that ball first up. But if it was later in the series, if it was later in his innings and he was a bit more relaxed, it would have been a little bit more natural. He probably wouldn't have been gripping the bat so hard, maybe not so hard with his bottom hand, and he probably would have got in a better position. So if it's a technical problem, he probably has to go away to the nets and go and groove and maintain his game and work on a few things. But he may be doing that, I don't know, but I would suggest it's probably more about just trusting his game, trusting himself, and then saying, it's okay, I made a mistake, but that's okay. It's not a technical error. I just need to relax and continue to trust myself. What I would love to know, and whether we will ever find this out or not, I don't know. I'd love to know how Kohli goes away and reviews that, because all the best players do review their footage and they review their dismissals, and they try and use that data, that information they get, to then work out how they can be better in the future. So if Kohli has made a mistake, if you want to call it technical, fine. If you want to call it mental, fine. Whatever we call it, he's made a mistake, he nicked it. But he's going to go away, he's going to look at the footage, no doubt he'll look at the footage and he'll say, okay, my position wasn't quite right. But he'll also know within himself how he felt. Was he too tense? Was he too anxious? Was he too sort of angry and not calm in the best state for him to perform? I'd love to know how he reviews that and then uses that information so that in the future, next innings, as soon as next innings, could be tomorrow, could be in a day, 2 days, how he uses that information to then be better. And then not just in the next test, the one after that, the one after that, the one after that. Because the best players are always learning. They're always reflecting and using their reflection to learn. A cricket mentor, we have a saying that experience plus reflection equals learning. So he's had the experience, he got out, nicked off first ball, then if he reflects, that's how he learns. Okay, so you young people, you can learn so much by reflecting on the actual experience, and that comes from training and games. And we use our athlete development journals to help encourage our athletes to reflect. But guys, this is an example of how hard this game is. As a batter, we are never going to succeed every time we bat. And if you are going to be the best, I said this on our story last night, if you're going to be the best, and without a doubt, statistically, regardless if you guys think he's overrated or not, statistically, Kohli is one of the best ever batters. So if you're going to be the best, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're never going to be perfect. And you've got to get that through your head. The best players don't not fail. Of course they fail. Kohli just got his 9th duck in Test cricket, I think. Or maybe that was just as a Test captain. I saw a stat that he now has the most ducks as an Indian Test captain. So, and it said 9. So he might even have more zeros than that in Test cricket. But he's also scored 20-something centuries. And so if you want to be great, you have to accept it. At any level, you're going to fail. You're going to make lots and lots of mistakes. So if you can understand that, that to me is that that mindset unlocks the ability to move on from low scores quickly and just accept that the game's hard. And so many people are held back from performing at their best because they're still dwelling or worrying about their previous innings, their previous score. They haven't let it go, and that baggage that you carry from the last game to the next game, that holds you back from playing with freedom. You start, then get out again, you start thinking about your average, what people are thinking, you're spotting the team, and that baggage holds you back from performing well. The best players accept that they're going to get low scores. They understand that that's part of the game. It's such a hard game. Batting is such a hard art. And something I've spoken to Chris Rogers, my good mate Buck, shared with me is something that his dad used to say to him, is that the best players, if you're a good player, every time you get a low score, it means you're 1 innings closer to getting a big score. And that sort of mindset helps keep the best players positive. Oh, well, it wasn't my day today, I'm going to reflect, I'm going to learn, and I'm now 1 innings closer to a big score. And as I've said, the best players make their good days great days. They make them excellent days. And that's where their stats become world class. Nobody remembers how many ducks a player gets. They remember how many hundreds they score and what their average was. So Kohli's going to finish with probably over 100 international centuries. An ODI average of close to 60 or over 60. A Test average somewhere around 50. A T20 average somewhere between 40 and 50. He's going to be remembered statistically, regardless if you guys think he's overrated or not, as one of the great players. And all the low scores, they get forgotten. But he still has them. He just turns his good days into great days. So it's really important for you guys to understand. Sometimes when you're young, a lot of errors are technical errors and you have to go away and work on them. But when you get to a really, really good level, yes, you always have to manage and maintain your technique and tweak things and tinker with things to try and be a little bit better. But Oliver, don't unfollow, recognition, thanks for joining us, mate. Yes, you have to tinker, but sometimes you just have to acknowledge I just wasn't at my best today, and the bowler was better than me. Sometimes you can say, like Anderson yesterday, for Kohli's first ball that he's faced in months, Anderson was better. Anderson won the battle. And sometimes when you try too hard, when you want it so much, especially in high pressure situations, especially when there's a lot riding on it, that's when you grip the bat a bit tighter, you tense, you clench your teeth, and you're trying so hard, that's when we're more likely to make mistakes as well. So it's so easy, guys, it's so easy to sort of sit here on the couch, and the reason we posted those photos without any caption was to get a bit of a gauge of what people were thinking. Obviously everyone reverts the technique, which is absolutely normal, and if it was a kid, maybe I'd say, yep, it's a technical error. For me, it was just a mistake, and as I said, love to know how Kohli would be reviewing it, whether he says technical and I have to go to the nets and work on things, or he says, nah, it's all good, I was just a bit tense, pushed at it a little, got in an awkward position, that's okay. When I'm more calm, when I'm spend a bit of time in the middle, that won't happen again. Something that also I want to share with you before we wrap up is something that Adam Voges once said to Chris Rogers, and these two are mentors of mine, good mates of mine, both played Test cricket for Australia. Some of Australia's most successful first-class players, both went on to have good, successful Test careers later in their careers. That in any given season, you probably only have 2 days where you're really, really on. 2 days where you're at your absolute best and things feel a bit easy and you're just boning them and feel good. The rest of the time is a grind. The rest of the time is a struggle and a fight. And the best players, they become the best because they score the most runs. And it's not because they feel good every time they bat. It's because they have a method and a mindset and a technique that allows them to survive when they're not going so well, and they just continue to fight and find a way. So if you want to be regarded as one of the world's best, you've got to create a technique as a foundation that allows you to handle good bowling and allows you to score runs quite freely. Then you've got to create a mindset and a game plan around, all right, if I'm not at my best, how do I succeed today? What is working for me? What are my dangers? What are the worries here or the vulnerabilities of how I could get out? How's this bowler trying to get me out? What do I do? What do I need to do to just get up the other end and get through this spell? The best players find a way more often than not. Kohli he got a golden duck, but no doubt he'll have some success in this season, in this series. And he no doubt will get another low score somewhere in the season, maybe a couple of low scores, but when he gets in, I'm sure he'll cash in. And I bet you if we asked him, he might say, I wasn't batting at my best, or I wasn't feeling my best, but he still made it work. And I love a video, I've shared a video in our cricket mentoring community, and guys, if you haven't seen it before, you're not a member, please get involved. The cricket mentoring community, head to cricketmentoring.com/community. You can get a 7-day free trial and you can check it out. I'd love for you to become a member today and join our community, get involved and learn from me, do these sort of things more often. I've lost my train of thought there before I went into the community. A video that I love is of Steve Smith after the last Ashes in Australia, where he averaged 130, and he said, I wasn't hitting the ball at my best, I wasn't batting at my best, and they said, you're joking, you're kidding, you averaged 130. He goes, nah, I wasn't, but I was just making good decisions for a long period of time. And that to me says he wasn't at his best, he wasn't feeling amazing, he wasn't scoring freely and all that, but he just hung in there, he hung in there, he hung in there, and then he got the runs. He got big hundreds, I think a double hundred, he didn't get out a few times, he didn't give his wicket away, and that's an example of the best players. That's an example of what the best players do. So guys, that's pretty much what I think. Kohli is an amazing player. I'm never going to pull apart Virat Kohli. He, in my opinion, is one of the best ever. But he makes mistakes, and he's going to continue to have to work on his game. Even at 38, Buck Rogers and Adam Voges were playing Test cricket and they were still working on their game. And they're two guys I know well. I was sort of training with them and involved at that time. I know that they were still working on their games at that point in their life. So at any point, regardless if you're in the test setup or you're a young kid, you have to always be working on your game. You have to be managing and maintaining and growing and grooving your technique. You have to be managing your mindset and your thoughts and the way you believe in yourself and approach the game. You have to sort of continue to grow your tactical awareness and your game understanding. You have to continually be as fit and strong and agile as you can be. You have to continually sort of live a lifestyle that allows you to play your best. The 6 pillars of success that we talk about at Cricket Mentor: technical, tactical, mental, emotional, physical, and lifestyle. You have to be ticking every box to be the best you can be. And if that's what you guys want to be, and we have so many people who say when they follow us, and we never know until we spend time with people if they actually mean it, but so many people say they want to be the best, but it's your actions that actually matter. Are you taking the actions that allow you to go towards being where you want to be? Do your actions match what you say you're going to do or what you want to do, or are you all talk? Because it is a tough game. You've got to be kind to yourself, guys. You've got to be really kind to yourself, especially when you're going through tough periods. When you're going through sort of periods where you're not getting the runs or the wickets or the results you want, you've got to be kind to yourself and just take a deep breath, take a step back, and don't beat yourself up. It's such a hard game. And if King Kohli is getting golden ducks and making mistakes, then anyone watching this live stream, and we have professional cricketers, international cricketers who follow us, and sort of anyone watching this stream, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to make technical errors. But it's about how we learn from it and how we bounce back. That matters. So legends, I really appreciate you all joining me. We're going to post this as an IGTV. Punter says Kohli needs to focus on his batting and fielding. I think every cricketer, every batter needs to focus on their batting and fielding. Skulls, did you watch the interview of Virat with Dinesh Karthik? I didn't, mate. I didn't, unfortunately. Map Life, our friend Simon over in New South Wales, said, consistently making good decisions equals momentum. Awesome. Map Life, guys. Check them out. A great account. That was a Jaffa from Anderson. There was no mistake from Virat. There was a mistake. He made a mistake. No doubt about that. But it wasn't necessarily technical and he has to go away and work hard on his technique. It was more, as I've said, mental and just probably trying a bit hard. So he just needs to relax and trust himself, and that's something we talk a lot about with our athletes, is train it and then trust it. When you get to game day, you've got to trust it. And we're going to be talking more about that in coming weeks, as we got a few really exciting projects coming out soon, things that are going to help you guys, primarily batters. That's who we help mostly, but we'll do some stuff for bowlers soon as well. But primarily batters, we're going to help you learn and develop your skills so you can overcome your struggles and you can become your best. But in the meantime, make sure you check out the Cricket Mentoring community, cricketmentoring.com/community. And that's where we can really help you. We can answer individual questions. I spend some time in there, Reedy spends some time in there. We can really help you guys become the best you can be. So legends, I'm going to leave it there. And thank you all for being a part of this live. Thank you for joining us. And now, go out, back yourself, work hard, and get it done.